Hey, howdy, hey folks, it is Mrs. Johnson with the Agri-Wisdom channel again. We are talking about Cattle Country, a Peter French, more FFA lullabies for you. It has been a couple weeks since I've read this, so I don't quite remember where we were. I do have it marked. So we were on page 72 in my book. And we were talking about the Paiute and Bannock Revolt. And then we got some pictures in the next chapter. Let's see. I'm actually going to take my book sleeve off. As you can tell, I've been packing this book around quite a bit. I've been destroying this book cover. At least you know that it's well used, I guess. Let me get my reading glasses on. Okay. Page 73 of Cattle Country by Peter French by Giles French, who is not related. Ranchers, Riders, and Settlers. Ta-da! This is what that page looks like. Oh. Let me just. Ta-da. Nope. Hold on. There you go. Okay. That top page is from the Nevada Historical Society, and the caption reads, "Long freight team in front of Pioneer Winnemucca Hotel in the 1880s, showing the Reinhardt store behind the wagons and the courthouse in the distance. A cattle drive here from the P Ranch took about 3 weeks. But the vaqueros welcomed the 200-mile ride because of the excitement they found in the old town, far different from their daily routine." So, yeah, so, store, and then I assume the courthouse is back over here. Oh, behind the wagons. That's the store, back over here, and then courthouse, probably over here somewhere. That bottom picture reads, "In 1889, Burns was a small community with its lone hotel able to care for only 2 or 3 visitors, and its stores stocked with little more than the necessities of life." That's that bottom picture. Ta-da! Moving onward to the next pages, we've got lots of things. Our first picture reads, "Hunting was once unrestrained east of the Cascades, and men lived on the plentiful wild meat produced by the native animals and birds." So that's this top one right there. The next one, this cabin this one is sourced by Al Monner. This cabin in the Harney Basin was once the dwelling of a homesteader who tried to eke out a living on a barren slope in the semi-arid land, where it sometimes takes thousands of acres for success. Down here, hold on. I'll figure it out one day, I promise. This fun little thing down there. So let's read about these 2 portraits. Now, who are these lovely folks? The one on the right is Buffalo Horn, chief of the Bannocks, who triggered the Bannock-Paiute War in the southeast, Oregon. Left, this one, is typical regalia of a Bannock chief. And then below, so hold on, let's get you a good image of that regalia. And then this bottom photo, let's read about it. Is members of a Bannock Indian camp decked out in all their finery. Note the ever-present dog in the foreground. This is the dog they're talking about. And they're all in regalia. looks like. Okay. Next page. This first photo, also sourced by Al Monner. Ta-da! This one is the first building erected in the fields of Harney County. Note the carefully rounded fireplace. And then below that is a photograph of a bunch of probably old dead white men, looks like. Maybe not all of them are white. Oh, I think we have a woman in this photo too. Okay, notes read about it. This photo contains some of the Harney County pioneers of the 1870s, most of whom had a part in the history of Blitzen Valley. Back row from the left is Tom Vickers, Martin Brennan, John Wiltzel, Chino Badugaro, Prim Ortego, and Bill King. So, it would help if you could see. You can see. That's who all those people are in the back. Who are the people in the front? From the left, Doc Kiger, Stilly Riddle, Rye Smith and his wife, Nell, and George Miller. That's who those people are in the front. Okay. Next photo is a photo of the Burns Hotel, which was built in 1892 on the corner of Broadway and A Streets, across from the Mart Brennan's Red Front Livery Stable and Trish and Donegan's Saloon. Here, it was said, Peter French and Ed Oliver quarreled at the Democratic Convention in 1896, just about 1 year before French met the death at the hands of Oliver. Dun dun dun. That's where that is. My last photo on this page. There's lots of photos in this chapter. Is captioned, "The case of French Glen versus Springer and the murder trial of Ed Oliver were both held in this old wooden courthouse in Harney County, built in 1894. That's the courthouse. Courthouse. Looky there. Okay. Let's not skip pages, Jamie. Okay. Another photo by Al Monner. Reads, roping calves for branding at the Double Ot Ranch, 0000. And then we've got this photo of some cute little ponies. Dun, dun, dun. That reads, at Soaring Springs Ranch in Catlow Valley, horses get their morning drink from cool water of the springs, for which the ranch is named. The springs burst from under the rim rock above the ranch buildings and rush noisily over the rocky slope till the water reaches the valley floor. That's interesting. That photo was also credited to Al Monner. All of the photos on this on this 2 pages is actually credited to Al Monner. And then we're taking a peek at Alvord Ranch in this photo. And it reads, Alvord Ranch, situated at the base of Steen Mountain's highest ridges, became famous as a show place under the ownership of John Devine in the 1880s. He kept a stable of fine horses, herds of show cattle, and made the range a refuge for the wild animals and birds which lived there. Interesting. So then, down here, hold on, excuse me, excuse the chaos. That one, this one here, is Devine's Great Barn that still stands as a monument to the days when he made it home for a great string of blooded racehorses. Super interesting. Let me see how many pictures we've got left. A lot. A couple more pages. I promise you, we'll be done before you know it. Okay. we've got 2 photos. So we've got this top one. It's a bunch of cowboys just kind of standing in a circle for a photo. And this kind gentleman is Peter French. I don't know. Peter French. And his P Ranch Vaqueros, which reads, the boss of the Blitzen had just delivered 2,100 steers to Wallula Junction in 1885 when he and his vaqueros lined up for this picture. From left to right, their names are Bert French, Peter's brother, Charles Wheeler, Jim Brannon, Jack Cooper, Phil Bernhardy, the cook, Charles Ward, Kid Hudson, Bill Dyer, Mort Brennan, Abe Hollister, Johnny Fisher, Boland Find, and French. So, French's brother. And then this lovely gentleman right there with the bald face horse is the cook. And the rest are vaqueros. Okay. Now, this last photo on the, gosh darn it, on the bottom, as you can see, is labeled in cursive, in handwriting. And it's a photo of the old sod house ranch, which overlooks the sod house springs with Mulhare Lake in the background. This ranch was the scene of Peter French's murder almost 3/4 of a century ago. Murder. Yeah, so Lake Mulhare is all this stuff in the back. And then this down here is the actual ranch where Peter French was murdered. Dun dun dun. More photos of people. This is Mort Brennan in the top left. Dun, 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 Mort Brennan. This photo was taken in 1883 when he was working for the P Ranch. He was the buckaroo who claimed credit for kicking away the sand that allowed Mulhare Lake to flow into Harney. Interesting. And then we have Dave Crow. Dun, dun, dun. Dave Crow. He rode from the sagebrush field to Winnemucca to carry news of Peter French's murder. Dressed here in his wedding suit, he gives little evidence of the physical hardness that allowed him to ride 200 miles through short winter days without rest. Interesting. Okay. We have a photo from Joe Van Wormer. Next, this top right photo. With the caption that reads, "Ears up, manes flying. The horse herd comes racing in from the sage-covered range, driven by a pair of riders covered with the alkali dust of the upland." So, there's a cowboy, and then there's a cowboy also right there. And this last photo on the bottom is P Ranch Vaqueros, Billy Gillum, Chico, and Dave Crow riding 3 horses that they were breaking. Okay. We're like 5 pages left of photos. Another photo by Al Monger. This one is a deserted homestead east of Burns, Oregon, that is typical of many others. Its fallen and broken windmill is a poignant reminder of the settlers' desperate need for water to cultivate an arid land. And then we've got a photo from Joe Van Wormer of this cowboy. Fun to know. That reads, roping is an art and a forgotten one. The unseen roper has the front legs, while the man in view of the camera has his big loop ready for the head. The scared colt is in for a new experience. So, you can see that this rope is wrapped, basically hobbled very high up on this little colt, and it's going to get pulled tight. And then this cowboy here has got this rope that goes this way, and it's going to rope this cute little guy's head, and probably restrain the little bugger. Ooh. Okay, we've got some photos by Al Monner of the famous White House on the P Ranch, Peter French's headquarters, where he kept his books on engineering and his tracks on cattle raising, and where he entertained visiting cattlemen and cattle buyers who were glad to be invited to the home of the boss of the Blitzen. So that's what this big photo is. Dun, dun, dun. It's actually a remarkably big house. And then this little inset here is a picture taken during the fire which destroyed the White House, burning it to the ground and destroying many of the poplars surrounding it. Only the tall chimney still stands. So, poplars, the trees that look like they were planted around the house. So, and then our last two photos. This top one. Dun, dun, dun. French Glen has survived the changes in cattle ranching because it is the last step from civilization to those hardy hunters and fishermen who want to visit the High Steens Mountain country. 60 miles of gravel and paved roads link French Glen with Burns, Oregon. The cluster of buildings also mark the southern end of the Great Molehair Wildlife Refuge. This photo is also taken by Al Monner. And then we've got one last photo of a hotel. The French Glen Hotel, actually, which was built about 1916, has a stopping place for team stores who were needed to help the freight teams get up the hill to Catlow Valley on their way to Winnemucca. Now, its guest rooms are occupied by fishermen, photographers, birdwatchers, and those who come to bask in the romance of a one-time cattle empire. Dun, dun, dun. Okay, so that is it for this chapter of photos in Cattle Country of Peter French. I hope you swing by and come visit me for the next chapter. Come visit me from the last few chapters. And I hope at least some of my FFA babies are asleep and have learned something and all the things. So have a sweet, lovely, wonderful day, and we will chat soon. Have a great day. Bye.